When we begin the journey of healing from emotional pain, the first and most essential step is acknowledgement. Most people spend their lives trying to escape pain, burying it beneath distractions, achievements, or the illusion of control. But what we resist does not disappear, it only hides, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Healing does not begin by avoiding our wounds. It begins by allowing ourselves to truly see and feel them. The pain you carry is not your enemy. It is a messenger, a quiet whisper from the soul that something within you is asking for love, attention, and understanding. Take a moment to simply breathe. Feel your breath entering and leaving your body. As you breathe in, allow yourself to soften. As you breathe out, let go of the need to fix anything right now. There is nothing broken within you, only parts of yourself longing to be seen. The act of acknowledgement is not about relieving your suffering, but about creating space for your truth to exist. When you say, "Yes, I am hurting," you begin to disarm the pain. You stop giving it the power of resistance. In this stillness, you can begin to notice the layers beneath your emotions, the sadness, the disappointment, the loneliness. These emotions are not weaknesses, they are human. They are the evidence that you have loved, that you have cared deeply, that you have lived. Sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is to stop running from our own feelings and to sit in silence with them. When you stop resisting, you begin to realize that pain, too, has intelligence. It guides you toward parts of yourself that you may have neglected. Many people are afraid that if they face their pain, it will consume them. But the truth is, when you look directly at your pain with compassion, it starts to dissolve. Pain grows in the darkness of avoidance but weakens in the light of awareness. Awareness is like sunlight. When it touches what hurts, it begins to transform it. You might notice that your pain is not as solid as you once believed. It moves, it shifts, it breathes. And as it moves, so does your energy. You begin to reclaim the power that was trapped in those emotions. You are not the story of your pain. You are the consciousness that observes it. You are the presence that holds it. When you recognize this, you step into the role of the witness. You begin to watch your emotions rise and fall like waves in the ocean. Some waves are gentle, others are fierce, but none of them define the ocean itself. The ocean remains vast, still, and unshaken. The same is true of you. Acknowledgement is not about identifying as the wounded one. It is about embracing the part of you that experienced wounding with love and compassion. There is a difference between saying, "I am in pain," and "I am pain." You are not your pain. You are the awareness in which pain appears. When you understand this, healing begins to unfold naturally. Take another breath now, slower this time. Imagine breathing directly into your heart. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. With every inhale, you create more room for gentleness. With every exhale, you release judgment. Allow yourself to say inwardly, "I allow my pain to be seen. I give myself permission to feel." There is incredible strength in this surrender. You are not giving up. You are opening up. Sometimes, the simple act of acknowledging your pain can bring tears. Let them come. They are not a sign of weakness, but a release of energy that has been held for too long. Each tear is a drop of truth leaving the body, cleansing you, freeing you. The body knows how to heal when the mind steps aside. Trust this intelligence. In acknowledging your pain, you also begin to see the story behind it. The expectations that were unmet, the dreams that didn't unfold, the words that went unsaid. These are all part of the human experience. To feel pain deeply is to have lived deeply. It means you were open enough to love, to hope, to trust. Even in pain, there is beauty because it reveals how deeply you have felt life. So, rather than asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this pain showing me?" Every wound carries wisdom. Every heartbreak invites growth. Every moment of suffering contains within it the seed of awakening. When you begin to honor your pain instead of rejecting it, you open the door to healing. You become your own sanctuary, a place where everything within you is allowed to exist. Right now, as you sit here breathing, remember that there is nothing you need to do to heal. You do not need to chase peace or force forgiveness. Healing begins the moment you stop running and turn toward yourself with love. You are not here to fix your heart, you are here to listen to it. And in that listening, in that gentle acknowledgement, the first light of peace begins to rise within you. Acceptance is one of the most misunderstood aspects of healing, yet it is also the most transformative. We often believe that to accept something means to approve of it, to agree with what happened, or to surrender to defeat. But acceptance is none of these things. Acceptance is the quiet recognition of truth. It is saying, yes, this happened. Yes, I feel this way. And yes, I am still here. When you reach this space, you stop fighting reality. You stop using your energy to resist what already is. And in that moment of surrender, peace begins to emerge. Not because the pain disappears, but because you stop feeding it resistance. When we are in pain, the mind becomes a storyteller. It replays memories, questions choices, and creates endless loops of what, if, and why me? The mind believes that if it can understand or rewrite the past, it can make peace with it. But peace does not come from mental explanations, it comes from emotional acceptance. The mind seeks control, but the heart seeks release. To accept is to move from the head to the heart, from analysis to surrender. Take a deep breath. Let your breath remind you that life is still moving through you. Acceptance does not ask you to forget or to pretend. It simply asks you to allow things to be as they are without needing them to be different. The past cannot be changed, and the future is not yet written. All that exists, all that ever truly exists, is this moment, this breath, this awareness, this presence. When you resist what is, you create tension within yourself. That tension becomes suffering. Imagine holding a rope in a tug of war against life itself. The harder you pull, the more you tire, the more you hurt. Acceptance is the moment you decide to let go of the rope. Not because you have lost, but because you realize the battle was never needed. Life is not against you, life simply is. It unfolds, it moves, it teaches. When you allow life to be what it is, you begin to see the intelligence behind even your most painful experiences. There are moments in life that break you open, moments that feel unfair or unbearable. Acceptance does not erase their pain, but it transforms your relationship with it. You begin to see that your suffering is not a punishment, it is a passage. Every moment of pain carries a hidden invitation, a chance to grow, to awaken, to understand yourself more deeply. When you resist, you close that door. When you accept, you walk through it. Sometimes, acceptance feels impossible. The heart says, how can I accept this loss? How can I accept this betrayal? And that is okay. Acceptance is not an instant act, it is a gradual unfolding. It starts with the smallest willingness, the soft whisper that says, maybe one day I can make peace with this. Even that willingness is enough to begin the healing process. The heart heals in layers, just as it was hurt in layers. You do not need to rush it, you only need to stay open. As you breathe, notice that acceptance feels softer than resistance. It feels more spacious, more gentle. Resistance feels tight, heavy, and tense. It lives in the body as contraction. Acceptance feels like a sigh, a release, a quiet surrender to what is. When you accept, you allow life to flow through you again. You stop clinging to the past or fearing the future. You return to yourself, to the stillness that was always there beneath the noise. Acceptance is not passive. It is not giving up, it is giving in to truth. It is the courage to face what is real without denial or distortion. It is the strength to stop pretending and to meet life as it is. When you can look at your pain and say, this too belongs, you bring light to the darkest corners of your being. You stop separating yourself from your experience. And in that wholeness, healing naturally begins. There will come a moment when you realize that every experience, joyful or painful, has shaped you into who you are now. Acceptance is not only about making peace with your past, but also about embracing your evolution. You are not the same person who was hurt. You have grown, you have learned, and you are still becoming. Life is a continuous unfolding, and every chapter, even the painful ones, has a purpose in your story. In accepting what has been, you create space for what can be. You begin to see beauty again, to feel gratitude again, to open your heart again. The storm begins to calm, not because the world outside has changed, but because something within you has softened. You no longer need to control every outcome or understand every reason. You begin to trust the rhythm of life. Acceptance is love in its purest form. It is the heart saying, I will no longer fight myself. I will no longer fight life. And in that surrender, something extraordinary happens. Peace finds its way back to you. Letting go is one of the most powerful acts of freedom we can experience, yet it is also one of the hardest. The mind wants to hold on to stories, to people, to pain, to what could have been. It holds on because it believes that through attachment it can find safety or meaning. But holding on is heavy. It fills our hearts with tension and our bodies with exhaustion. We cling to emotions, replay memories, and build identities around our wounds. And yet, healing begins the moment we realize that letting go is not losing. It is releasing what no longer serves our growth. Letting go does not mean forgetting or pretending that something never happened. It means loosening the grip of the past so that it no longer controls the present. It is the quiet courage to say, this no longer defines me. When you let go, you are not erasing your story. You are rewriting your relationship with it. You begin to understand that the purpose of pain was never to imprison you. It was to awaken you. The past has already given you what it was meant to give. Now it is time to step into the space that waits beyond it. Take a deep breath. As you inhale, feel yourself gathering everything that weighs on your heart, all the regrets, the anger, the guilt, the disappointment. Hold it gently for a moment, and as you exhale, imagine releasing it into the vastness of space. Watch it dissolve like clouds in the wind. This is not an act of force. It is an act of surrender. The more you let go, the lighter you become. The lighter you become, the more clearly you see that freedom was always within you. The reason letting go feels painful is because we confuse attachment with love. We believe that to let go means to stop caring, but the truth is the opposite. To let go is to love more deeply, without clinging, without control. It is to honor what was and to allow it to transform naturally. When you love something or someone, you set it free, not because you no longer care, but because you recognize that love cannot live inside captivity. Holding on to pain, resentment, or loss is a form of self-imprisonment. The keys to your freedom are already in your hands. They are found in your willingness to release. Every emotion you hold has energy. Anger, sadness, guilt, all of these emotions vibrate within your body. When you hold on to them, that energy becomes blocked. You may feel it as tension in your chest, pressure in your mind, or a weight in your stomach. But when you let go, that same energy transforms. It becomes movement, flow, vitality. You begin to feel alive again. This is why forgiveness is so powerful. Forgiveness is not about approving someone's actions. It is about releasing your soul from the prison of resentment. It is a declaration that says, I will no longer carry the poison that was never mine to hold. Letting go also means forgiving yourself. We often carry guilt for things we did or didn't do, words we said or didn't say. We replay those moments again and again, hoping somehow to change the past. But guilt is a chain that ties you to what is already over. When you forgive yourself, you are not excusing mistakes. You are acknowledging your humanity. You are recognizing that you were doing the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. Letting go of self-blame opens the heart to compassion, the compassion that heals, restores, and renews. Sometimes we hold on because pain feels familiar. The mind finds strange comfort in what it knows, even when it hurts. But comfort and peace are not the same. Peace is born when you allow yourself to move beyond what is familiar and step into the unknown. The unknown may feel uncertain, but it is also the space of infinite possibility. When you let go of what you know, you make space for what can be. You create room for new experiences, new perspectives, and new beginnings. Letting go is not something you do once, it is a practice, a gentle unfolding. Each day, you may have to release a little more, a memory, a thought, a feeling. With each release, you create a little more space inside your heart. This is the rhythm of healing. Breathing in awareness, breathing out release. Over time, you will begin to notice that your pain no longer holds you. It becomes a part of your story, but not your identity. It becomes wisdom instead of weight. So now, take another breath. Feel the air moving through you, cleansing, softening, renewing. Imagine that with every exhale, you are setting yourself free. You are letting go of the heavy armor you once wore to protect yourself. You are no longer defined by your wounds, but by the strength that came from healing them. And as you stand in this space of release, something subtle yet profound begins to happen. You start to feel light. Not the kind of light that comes from the outside world, but the light of your own being. It was never gone. It was simply hidden beneath what you were holding on to. Letting go is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your freedom. When you begin to let go of emotional pain, something beautiful starts to happen. The heart begins to open again. For so long, the heart may have lived behind invisible walls built carefully for protection. Those walls once served a purpose. They kept you safe when life felt unbearable. But as healing unfolds, the same walls that once protected you begin to confine you. You start to feel that yearning, the quiet, gentle pull from within that says, it's time to feel again. This is the invitation to open your heart, to allow love to return, not as a fragile emotion, but as a living, breathing state of being. The heart is not just an organ of emotion, it is the center of your consciousness. It knows how to love even when it's been broken. It knows how to trust again, even after betrayal. The pain you felt did not close your heart forever. It only asked you to learn how to love more wisely. To open your heart again is not to forget the wounds, but to let them soften into wisdom. It is realizing that love was never what hurt you, expectations and attachments were. Love itself has always been pure, unconditional, and infinite. Take a deep breath and imagine that your heart is expanding with every inhale. With every breath, it grows lighter, warmer, and more radiant. You may notice that when the heart opens, there's a sense of vulnerability that comes with it. It feels raw, exposed, even uncertain. But that vulnerability is not weakness, it is truth. It is your authentic self emerging from behind the layers of defense. When you open your heart, you give yourself permission to live fully again, to experience joy, beauty, and connection without fear. Love is not something you must go out and find. It is the essence of what you already are. When you look inward, beneath the pain, beneath the stories, you will find that love has never left you. It has been waiting patiently for you to return. Love is the natural rhythm of your being. It flows effortlessly when you stop resisting life. The more you open your heart, the more that love radiates outward, touching every part of your existence. You begin to see the world differently. The people who once hurt you appear not as enemies, but as teachers. The experiences that once broke you now look like invitations for growth. Opening the heart is also an act of courage. It asks you to step into the unknown without guarantees. It asks you to trust that life, in its infinite intelligence, knows how to bring balance, even when you cannot see how. When the heart is open, trust flows naturally. Not the trust that everything will go your way, but the deeper trust that whatever comes will serve your awakening. You begin to sense that love is not fragile, it is the strongest force in existence. It endures loss, transcends fear, and expands beyond the boundaries of time and circumstance. There is a deep healing that happens when you allow love to flow again. You start to recognize that the same energy that created galaxies also flows through you as compassion, kindness, and empathy. When your heart is open, you become a channel for this energy. You begin to radiate calmness to those around you. People can feel it. They sense something peaceful, something genuine. You no longer need to search for validation or chase affection because love is no longer something you seek. It is something you embody. To open your heart also means to forgive, not just others but yourself. Forgiveness is the door through which love returns. When you forgive, you dissolve the separation that pain created. You stop holding on to the idea that someone owes you peace, and you reclaim that peace for yourself. Forgiveness does not mean you accept injustice. It means you are no longer willing to carry its weight. It is the ultimate act of self-love, the gentle whisper that says, I choose freedom over bitterness. In this openness, the heart becomes vast, limitless, like the sky. It can hold both joy and sorrow without breaking. You no longer need to push away pain or cling to pleasure. You realize that both are part of the same movement of life. This is what it means to live with an open heart, to be fully present with whatever arises, knowing that love remains untouched beneath it all. When you live from this space, even silence feels full, even stillness feels alive. As your heart opens, gratitude begins to bloom naturally. You start to appreciate the small things, the sound of rain, the warmth of sunlight, the touch of a kind word. Gratitude is love's natural language. It reminds you that life itself is a gift, and that every experience, no matter how painful, has brought you closer to truth. So now, as you breathe, feel your heart softening once more. Let it expand with compassion for yourself, for others, for all that has been and all that will come. Let it remind you that you were never meant to live with a closed heart. You were meant to love, to feel, to grow, to give, and to receive. Because when your heart is open, you are not just living, you are flowing with the rhythm of existence itself. When you begin to reconnect with inner peace, something profound awakens within you. It is not something you create, it is something you remember. Peace has always been there, beneath the noise of your thoughts, beneath the waves of your emotions, beneath every struggle and every victory. It is the natural state of your being, the quiet awareness that has been watching everything unfold since the beginning. The problem is not that peace disappears, it's that we forget where to look. We look for peace in the world, in relationships, in success, in temporary moments of comfort. And when they fade, we believe peace is gone. But peace has never been out there. It has always been here, waiting patiently for you to return. To reconnect with this inner peace, you must first slow down enough to listen, not to the voice of the mind that is constantly analyzing, comparing, and worrying, but to the silent space beneath it. In that silence, there is a depth, a stillness that holds everything without judgment. That stillness is who you are. When you rest in that awareness, you no longer chase peace, you become it. You realize that peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of clarity. Life does not have to be perfect for you to be at peace. It is about learning to remain centered, even when the outer world moves in unpredictable ways. When we are disconnected from inner peace, our minds become restless, constantly searching for something to fix. We try to control outcomes, manage people, or force situations into what we believe will make us happy. But the truth is, the need to control is the very thing that blocks peace. The moment you release the need to manage life, you begin to flow with it. It's like standing in a river. When you stop fighting the current, the water carries you effortlessly. Inner peace is that flow. It is the deep knowing that no matter what happens, there is a still, steady awareness within you that cannot be disturbed. Take a deep breath. Feel your body rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. Notice how the breath moves without effort, how life breathes through you even without your control. That is peace. Effortless, natural, ever present. It doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require you to change who you are. It only asks you to stop resisting what already is. When you breathe with awareness, you reconnect with the rhythm of life itself. The mind quiets, the body softens, and suddenly you realize you are home, right here, right now. True peace comes when you stop identifying with the turbulence of the mind and return to the observer within you. You are not the thoughts that rush in and out. You are the awareness that notices them. You are not the emotions that come and go. You are the stillness that holds them. When you rest in this awareness, even chaos begins to lose its grip. You may still experience fear, anger, or sadness, but they no longer define you. They become like waves, rising, falling, dissolving. You remain the ocean, vast, deep, and unshaken. Gratitude is one of the most direct pathways back to peace. When you shift your focus from what is missing to what is present, your energy begins to change. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring what hurts, it means acknowledging what supports you even amid the pain. Every breath, every sunrise, every kind word. These are reminders of the infinite blessings that quietly surround you. Gratitude softens the mind and opens the heart. It anchors you in the now, where peace eternally resides. As you begin to live from this inner peace, you notice that life feels lighter. You no longer react to every disturbance, you respond from stillness. You begin to realize that peace does not come from controlling the external world, but from aligning with the natural rhythm of your inner world. There will still be storms, but they will no longer pull you under. You will watch them pass with understanding, knowing that nothing lasting can be shaken by temporary winds. Inner peace is not a goal, it is a practice. It is a moment to moment choice to return to yourself whenever you drift away. Each time you pause, breathe, and surrender to what is, you strengthen your connection to it. Over time, peace becomes your default state. It becomes the foundation from which you speak, act, and love. It colors everything you do. You become a calm presence in a noisy world, a quiet space where others can also remember their own peace. And so, in this moment, take another slow breath. Feel the silence between your thoughts. Feel the stillness beneath your heartbeat. That is the truth of who you are. The world may change, emotions may rise and fall, but this stillness, this peace, remains untouched. It has been with you through every joy and every sorrow, and it will remain with you always. You are not searching for peace, you are simply remembering what you have always been. As you emerge from the depths of healing, you begin to notice a quiet strength growing within you. It is not the kind of strength that shouts or forces its way through life. It is gentle, grounded, and deeply rooted in awareness. This strength comes from everything you have faced and released. It is born from every tear you've shed, every night you've spent in silence, every moment you chose to stay when it would have been easier to run. Healing has shaped you, refined you, and revealed a deeper truth that you are far more resilient than you ever believed. When you move forward from pain, you are not the same person who was once broken. You are transformed. You carry wisdom now, a quiet knowing that pain is not permanent, that loss is not the end, and that even in the darkest moments, there is always a light within that cannot be extinguished. This realization brings compassion, not only for yourself but for everyone who walks through their own invisible battles. You begin to see others not through the lens of judgment, but through the eyes of understanding. You recognize that every human being is doing their best to navigate the complexities of their own heart. Moving forward with compassion means living with softness, even in a world that often celebrates hardness. It means allowing kindness to guide your choices instead of fear. Compassion does not mean you let others harm you, it means you understand them without losing yourself. You can forgive and still set boundaries. You can love and still walk away when something no longer serves your peace. True compassion is balanced. It honors both the heart of another and the well-being of your own soul. To walk forward with this kind of awareness is to live in harmony with life itself. You begin to realize that nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the struggle, not the waiting. Every experience has been shaping you into someone more whole, more conscious, more alive. You start to move through life with a deeper sense of trust. You no longer need to know how everything will unfold. You only need to know that you can handle whatever comes. Trust becomes your anchor. It allows you to meet life as it is, without fear, without resistance. Each day becomes an opportunity to live with greater intention. You no longer chase happiness as something outside yourself. You begin to create it through small acts of awareness. By speaking gently to yourself, by offering love where it was once withheld, by being fully present in simple moments. The quiet morning light, the sound of laughter, the rhythm of your breath, all become sacred reminders of how far you've come. You start to notice that joy no longer depends on circumstances, it arises from your state of being. Moving forward with strength also means embracing uncertainty. Healing doesn't promise that life will be free of pain, it teaches you that you no longer need to fear it. You have walked through fire and discovered that you are the fire. There is nothing left to protect or prove. This freedom gives you courage, the courage to love again, to dream again, to open yourself to new beginnings. You are no longer defined by what happened to you, you are defined by what you choose to become. There is a quiet grace in this stage of healing. You stop searching for closure in the past and begin to open your arms to the present. You find beauty in imperfection, wisdom in silence, and purpose in every breath. You begin to live with an awareness that everything is interconnected. The same life that moves through the trees, the oceans, and the stars moves through you. You are not separate from it, you are part of its flow. When you live from this realization, peace is no longer something you seek. It becomes the essence of your existence. Take a slow breath now and feel that strength within you. It is calm, steady, and unshakable. You have faced your pain, accepted your truth, released what no longer serves you, opened your heart, and reconnected with peace. Now, this strength is not something you must hold on to. It simply is. It moves through you naturally, like your breath, like your heartbeat, like life itself. You have become a vessel of compassion, resilience, and light. And as you continue forward, let every step you take be guided by this awareness. Let it remind you that the purpose of healing was never to return to who you were, but to awaken to who you truly are. Because now, you do not walk as someone who is trying to heal, you walk as someone who has remembered their wholeness.